Jam.
I'm having a moment right now, a very geek moment. And I'm sure maybe a lot of you can relate. That I'm having trouble drawing upon just one subject to talk about in this segment of Geek Therapy Radio. Oh, and by the way, you're listening to Geek Therapy Radio. I'm Johnny Hemberger, your mental curator. What did I say last week? The High Priest of Geek or something like that? Anyways, so I'm having a dilemma of what I wanted to talk about this segment, and I think I settled on one. Something that's been gnawing at me for the past few months, actually. If you remember in one of my recent shows, I was talking about I've given up my battle trying to fix my DJI Phantom 3 drone. Side note, I don't like the term drone because it's not really a drone. It's a quadcopter. Let me push up my glasses. It's a quadcopter. Anyways, I've been battling trying to fix it for months, trying to fix the camera. The body of the drone flies just fine. Remember last segment talking about the human head transplant? That's basically what's going on with my Phantom 3, is the body flies just fine, but the camera, the brains of it, well, some of the brains of it are messed up. Basically, I couldn't fix the camera. The camera's done. I don't get any video feed from it. It still does its violent dance. The gimbal shakes violently and gives no video feed. I've changed every cable in there. I even changed out one of the circuit boards. It's done. The camera on my Phantom 3 Professional, the 4K camera, is done. Now that leaves me with the choice to make. I can get a new camera for it for around $300. Maybe around $250. If I don't want to get 4K, if I just want to do, it's more than 1080. It is more than 1440. It's 2.7K. So I've got a choice. Do I want to just spend $300 to have once again perfectly working Phantom 3, or do I want to go for the gold and just, if I'm going to spend money anyways, get a DJI Mavic? I am more leaning towards biting the $1,000 bullet and getting a DJI Mavic, but I've been holding off. I really loved flying my Phantom. It was a very fun hobby, and anyone who's thinking about getting into drones or aerial photography, do it. It is very fun and very rewarding. I thoroughly enjoyed it, which is why I'm more leaning towards just dropping a G on a new Mavic. I only had one complaint about the Phantom, that is that it's not portable. It's huge. You need an entirely separate, like, Pelican case to take it anywhere. You'd have to check it as baggage at an airport. If you're flying anywhere, it's just unwieldy. You can't bring it anywhere. The DJI Mavic will fit in your pocket of your cargo jeans or your Jinkos if you're still fashionably slow. If you're still wearing Jinkos, Mavic will fit in a pocket, basically. It folds and it transports easily. I can toss it in my backpack. I can toss it in my camera bag. And it's got a great camera. I mean, of course, it's state of the art. The Phantom 4 is a little bit better, but the Mavic is 95% of the Phantom 4. Plus the rotors fold and you can fit it in a pocket, literally. I can toss it in my backpack with the controller and take it anywhere. So I'm leaning towards doing that. But one reason why I've been holding off, and this is selfish of me, maybe it's selfish or smart, is I was kind of waiting. I was like, you know what? Let me get a few more months into Geek Therapy Radio, and maybe a sponsor will step out from a hobby shop or something like that and say, Johnny, we want to sponsor the show. Here's a Mavic just, use it to your heart's content so that you can do a review of it. This is a sponsorship thing. It would be what I was waiting for was a legit setup, a fully disclosed to the public. Hey, XYZ Hobby Shop is sponsoring me. They gave me a Mavic. Here's what I think about the Mavic. It'd be completely legit by FCC standards. It would be an honest review. Any potential sponsors need to know that I will not, I'm not going to kowtow around a bad product. If a product is bad, I'm going to say so. For instance, I have lined up sometime in the relatively near future, I've spoken with Audi, and they are going to let me take a new Audi R8 out to do a review. So, by the way, you're going to want to stick around for that episode, especially Geek Therapy Radio on YouTube. You're going to want to check that out. That's going to be awesome. But let's say the R8 is going to be terrible, which it's not. But let's say it was terrible. I would have to say that it's terrible. I'd say I drove the new 2018 Audi R8 and it was trash. And I will say trash things about it where it falls short. There's no such thing as perfect, and I will always point out what's not perfect about things. So, let's say I got a sponsor and they gave me a Mavic and said, have at it, do a review. It's all part of the sponsorship deal. I've disclosed it to my listeners that I am being sponsored. It's all legit. It's all above water. That's what I was kind of hoping for. But you know what? I don't think I can wait any longer because I really missed flying my drone around. I got, again, on Geek Therapy Radio YouTube, there are some videos I have up there, uploads from a few years ago or whatever with my DJI Phantom 3, some amazing videos that I've been able to capture with my Phantom. Now, with the next couple minutes left on this segment, how did you break the camera on your Phantom 3, Johnny? Good story. Good question, listener. Let me explain. And there is a video of this. I'm not sure I put it on YouTube. Maybe I did. I have to go back and check. I'm going to tell you the big accident, and then I'm going to tell you what actually did the camera in. Actually, I'm going to tell you the minor accident that finally killed the camera. What killed my camera was I was using the Phantom to clear pine needles off of my mom's roof. Leaves and pine needles off the roof, because you can aim the camera down and you get above the roof and you go down a little bit over it and it blows all the pine needles off the roof. It's amazing. Drones are amazing for like clearing off your driveway and stuff, like after you mow the lawn. That is the nerdiest way to blow off your driveway and clear grass clippings or leaves off your driveway. You can literally sit in your house and be like just flying your drone up. That's so lazy, but you could do it. Let me tell you why I don't suggest it. So I was flying the drone above my mom's roof, clearing off pine needles like a Mac Daddy, like the Mac Daddiest G geek ever. It was fine. It was working beautifully. When you are using a rotor aircraft, there's something called ground effect. And ground effect can be harmless. It's the cushion of air that occurs underneath the rotors as you near the ground. It's literally like a pillow of air that when you approach the ground, the rotor wash bounces off the ground and back up, and it creates a cushion. Airplanes do the same thing. When airplanes are flying, they can get low enough that they get ground effect off of the wing. There's air coming off the wing pushing down against the ground that keeps the aircraft buoyant. Actually, when you land an airplane, you're kind of relying on ground effect to bring you down softly to the ground. Anyways, there's something else that happens is if you get with a rotary aircraft, like a drone, like a quadcopter, if you get too close to a wall, all the air turbulence coming off the wall sucks you into the wall. Will suck the quadcopter or the drone into the wall. And that's what happened with my drone when I was clearing pine needles off the roof. I got down like beside the upstairs living room or whatever like that, just a flat 90-degree wall up on the roof, and it sucked itself into the wall. And even though I had prop guards, that didn't save it because it sucked itself fully into the wall. Once it's tilted, the rotors are creating a suction and it just sucks itself into the wall, whatever. So it hit the wall and it bounced and tumbled down the roof into some bushes. Now, the impact into the wall wasn't very hard, and the impact falling, a foot or two down onto the roof wasn't very hard, but it was still enough to finally damage the sensitive camera. So that was the minor accident. That's what finally killed the camera. The drone, again, is fine. I've got carbon fiber blades on it, and the blades are replaceable. Whatever. Drone is fine. Still flies perfectly. The first accident I got, which I was able to repair the drone fully from and repair the camera fully from, the camera worked after I did the repairs, my drone accidentally flew into the Williams Tower here in the Galleria. I was very far away from the building, and I was at like 300 feet or whatever, well within the FAA's legal limit. So I was doing a sweep about a quarter mile away from the building, just doing a big arc around the building. I was going to get this big circle arc around the building. What I forgot, because I'm dumb, and no matter as much preparation, as much as you try to be mindful of things, sometimes accidents happen, and I didn't have the foresight to foresee this happening because I just momentarily forgot. When my drone went around the back of the building, out of line of sight, which is a big no-no, it got out of line of sight, it lost communications with the receiver, with the transceiver, with the remote control, with the radio. And so when I lost connection, I was like, oh, well, no big deal, because the drone has a return to home feature that whenever your drone loses its connection with the controller, it stops in place and then comes right back to where it took off from. You don't need to do anything to the controller, just leave it, and the drone will come back to you. So at first I thought, oh, it's fine. Okay, the drone's just going to come back to me. And then I immediately realized there's a skyscraper in between me and the drone. Also, what happened is the return to home altitude, for whatever reason, was set to like 700 feet. And that, again, gave me another brief moment of respite. Oh, well, it's 700 feet, so it's going to go up over the building. Then I remembered that building is like 901 feet tall. 700 feet isn't going to be enough to clear the Williams Tower. And it wasn't. And again, I have this all on video. So the drone, I immediately got in my car, knowing what was about to happen, knowing what was currently happening. I got in my car and drove from the iHeart Studios to the side of the Williams Tower that I thought the drone would be, which turned out to be the water wall side. So it smashed into the building about 700 feet up. The building's fine. The drone was not. And the drone was in different various pieces on the lawn in front of the water wall with the sprinklers going, getting soaking wet. I didn't see the camera at first. The camera and the impact or whatever in the fall had sheared off. I didn't know where it went. I found the camera the next day in the grass, soaking wet, by a miracle. And I ordered the necessary little parts, maybe like $40 worth of parts, and I fixed it. Perfect. Not to mention, knowing it was going to crash, knowing that the drone was going to crash, it was $1,200 and the heart-sinking feeling that you are witnessing $1,200 vaporize. But it didn't. I fixed it. It worked perfectly fine. But cleaning pine needles off my mom's roof killed it. We'll be right back with more Geek Therapy Radio. Once again, thank you for listening. Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook, Geek Therapy Radio on Instagram, geektherapyradio.com, and Geek Therapy Radio on YouTube. Subscribe to all of it, especially the podcast. Listen to them, baby. They're really good. I'm Johnny Hemberger, and we'll be right back with more GTR.